the black god. You understand what I'm saying? Now, Ankh-Nakhonsu vowed to return. He said, I am the prince priest of the beast. Now, early in the lecture, I told you there was two beasts. There's a double beast in the book of Revelation. One is the physical manifestation of a government on the planet. The other one is the primal force of nature. What is nature? A beast. What is nature? A beast. Different animals. But they said that the man, you see the sphinx that sit in the middle of the earth. The reason why they put the head on top of the animal or the lion, they say because everything that the animal can do, when you raise yourself up to God, you can do too. You understand? You can also do too. So he said, I'm the prince priest of the beast, and they're talking about the black dot seed that is in you, which is the beast 666. Now let me go into some science to understand, because you got to understand what is getting ready to go down with you right now. Y'all all right? Yeah. Am I going too fast for you? Okay. We got a lot to cover. The coffin of this particular god is in the British Museum. I got a picture of the sarcophagus of the coffin in January. Now, let me go into some science on what is getting ready to go down. Look in your Holy Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic letters. One of the names of Jesus, in fact, is the number of the beast 666. Nevertheless, the fact which horrifies most people easily can be verified by anyone who knows the numerical equivalency of the Hebrew alphabet. The Hebrew alphabet in the Holy Kabbalah. The Hebrew alphabet in the Holy Kabbalah averages up with Jesus. When you look at Jesus' name in the Hebrew letters, and there's a number, every man, every woman is a star, and every number is infinite. And the Holy Kabbalah has the Hebrew letters, and it also has the numbers to it. And when you line up the numbers in the Holy Kabbalah to the number of Jesus, it means 666, which is the key to the Bible. Now we go deeper into this. Now, 666 is the number of a man. It's the number of a man which is encoded in our DNA. The key corresponds to 666 in a periodic table of chemistry. This has to do with carbon. Carbon is the basics or the products of what you know as melanin. Melanin, what you know of, is the blackness that's in you. And melanin is a byproduct of the original carbon. And the same carbon that is in the black dot, which is in you, is in the black holes in space. And in the core of every star is the carbonated atom. You see what I'm saying? Which is inside. So, it says, which has to do with carbon, as known as the elemental number of 12. 12 times 12 equals 144,000, which is apocalypse, which is a symbolic number that means you. Because it's not just talking about only 144,000 people. Hell, if it was only 144,000 people, like I say, you'd have to go in and invent some niggas to fill that thing. But it's a symbolic number that means the chosen seed, a seed, the black dot seed of Israel. Now, it says that the number 12, and it says it had all life on this planet except the mutant, is considered to be carbon-based because the carbon atom is conspicuously present in all living things. The carbonated atom has to do with 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons, which is the magnetic force field and the actual collective makeup of the gods of Earth. The atom. 6 electrons, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 666. You see what I'm saying? Which is the black dot seed in you. And when you rise up to God, you'll be 777. 777, the completion, because 7 is the holy number. Check. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? Now, let's go on a little bit, and let's go on a little bit, and let's deal with a little more things. The beast of Ankh-Nakhonsu. Ankh-Nakhonsu recorded in that stela out of the ancient empire of Atlantis, which was the last time you were on earth as gods, before you fell. He recorded that there was a stone that came from the star system Sirius, and the stone came from Sirius B. And that stone was called the sixth stone. And that sixth stone was made up of carbon. And in that sixth stone, they took it and they gave everybody a part of that particular stone that is the actual black carbonated atom of the black dot or the black hole in heaven. And that means in actually all, you have the same thing that God has in him because you are the children of God. That sixth stone. Later on, the planetary representation of the star system Sirius is Saturn. And Saturn became the planetary representation, and all of your other planets came from Saturn. That's why the Dogon had to repolarize Saturn. And Saturn is called a black planet. And the makeup of Saturn is black carbon. And the planetary representation of Saturn, you have the Kaaba stone is reported to come from Saturn. So when you see the actual Muslims going around the Kaaba stone, is representing the black body of God. And since you are black, you are God's. Allah, the arm, the leg, the head, the arm. Allah. You see what I'm saying? Now, that particular Kaaba view, which is the carbon key component of God, the triple blackness of space. In the beginning, there was blackness. You understand what I'm saying? Now, let's go on. Let me get my notes because I want to deal with a lot of other stuff here. Now, Mentu. He said that he was Mentu. He said that he was the fourth speaker of Mentu. In that particular stela that I gave you, the stela of Ankh-Nakhonsu is also identified with the priest of Mentu. Heru or the Christ is identified in many different deities. Appear in the book of law. That's the red book. That's the red book. Appear in the book of law. Awas is a being who dictated the book of law to Crawley in 1904 is an aspect of Heru or Horus that revealed himself as the inspired speaker of Mentu. But I thought Ankh-Nakhonsu was the inspired speaker of Mentu. Mentu is a form also of Horus with respect to the planet Mars. That's why when you see the pyramid that they got on Mars and you see the face on Mars is the face of Heru. There's also a form of Horus with respect to the moon. The moon means Khonsu. The prophet Mentu, the prophet and the priest of Mentu equals up to Ankh-Nakhonsu. Now, let's go on. There's something in you called the holy blood, holy grail. The Holy Grail, if you go and look at the movie, you look at the movie The Last Crusade, Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade. The movie was to get this Holy Grail that Jesus supposedly had drank from. But they went in and they had a whole lot of killing and everything, tried to get the Grail. And at the end of the movie, everybody killed each other, but Sean Connery took the cup and drank from it. And when he got outside, they said, well, why you didn't get the gold cup? It should be worth millions of dollars. He said, because it wasn't a cup that you're supposed to drink from. It was supposed to be illumination that you're supposed to get. That illumination, the Grail, is the black dot seed that is in you. You're going to find some stuff called holy blood, holy Grail, right? Now, what is the holy bloodline? The bringer forth of the Grail is the black dot in you, is the black dot, therefore, that engages as an offering to the terrestrial alien race of humans that a chance of communication with the Typhonian bloodline. What happened was is you fell from heaven. The Holy Grail gives you the offer or the chance to communicate with the brothers and sisters in heaven. But the Holy Grail is nothing but the black dot seed inside of you. You understand? This is the mystery to the Holy Grail. You're going to hear a lot of books on the Holy Grail, and it's supposed to be this cup. They say that Awas or Heru is the cup bearer. Awas and Heru is also a form of the black race, and it means that you bear the cup. The cup is the Holy Grail. My cup runneth over with the holy bloodline. Now, this particular bloodline equals the black race. The forebearer are the descendants from the great bear Typhon. Typhon. The great bear is in the constellation of Draco, the triple blackness of space. The constellation of Draco, which is the triple blackness of space, has her first son. You see the dragon. That just means the great mother or the great womb. The triple blackness of space has her first sun in her south gate. In that south gate, she has her first sun where she has a reflection of herself. And that reflection of herself is the first of all stars, the star system Sirius. You see, the star system Sirius, where you came from. Now, it says that the descendants are from the great bear Typhon, which embodies the type of the royal bloodline or the royal black blood. The bearer of the Holy Grail, which is the black dot in you, the black dot, is depicted on a tarot card that is identified with the bringer to the earth of the holy and royal bloodline, which flowers and veins the kingly man. The kingly man is you are the kings and queens of the earth. The kingly man was embodied in the ancient Pharaoh. The Pharaoh only took on an embodiment of God in which you're supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? Pharaoh means house. The black house. Beth means house. Ham comes from the word Cam, which means black. Bethlehem means the black house. The star in Bethlehem, every woman, every man is a star. There's a black dot seed in you, which is the star. Bethlehem, the star in Bethlehem is you. The sun, not S-O-N, but S-U-N, the atom, the sun that's inside you, the black dot, is the sun in Bethlehem, which is inside of you. You understand what I'm saying? Now, when I get into the Necronomicon, we'll find out what's coming back and when it's coming back. Check. All right, now. The kingly man, which identifies with transhuman intelligence. Babylon, the word Babylon, or the scarlet woman, collects the grail between her thighs. And the blood of Christ is the chosen seed of Israel. Israel, Isis, which is the mother. Ra, which is the son. And El, which means the word child, and it means the word son, and it means the word God. El means you. You are the El. You are the first Elohim that came to this planet. The chosen seed of Israel. The seed is the black dot seed that is in you. So you are all chosen. You are God's chosen people. But a part of the Egyptians that broke away from the royal government. And all these religions are nothing but a part of the same royal family that went all over the world and started teaching in other particular cultures. It started and rose up different cultures. And you're thinking it's different religions, it's all one religion, there's only one people on the earth. Homo, the word homo is the Latin word for the word Kim, and the word Kim is the word Cam, which means black. The word homo, which you get homo sapiens sapien, which homo means race. It means man. It means black. So they're telling you that the person on this earth, homo sapiens sapien means black people. Because at one time wasn't but one person on the earth, black people. And all the rest of it, we're the only planet that got this many races on the shit. You see what I'm saying? And that's based on genetic mutation and different messed up stuff, because this was nothing but a big old testing ground for the gods. You see what I'm saying? Since you was the god, you made experiments in Atlantis and Lemuria, because this wasn't up with one big experimentation in a laboratory. You see what I'm saying? Check. All right. It says that the bee, which you see, a bee, is the zootype of the black race. Is this black race. Now it says that the human cycle of evolution, in the timeline, this descent or the fall, it should be reminded that the function of the grail or the black dot is to contain the holy bloodline or the royal changriol, the real true blood which is not human, which is depicted in the myth in the connection of the royalty, which is the ancient word which is identified with divinity. They're saying that you are not human, you are gods. Human is what you came into, but hue means color. Who man. Who man means God man. The Sphinx is called the god Who. And the ancient Britons say we are named after the god Who. Because remember, the people who built Stonehenge, because the people that lived around the world was all black. So who man means God man. Check. All right. Okay, now. It says the grail has been depicted as the shadow or the shadow that suggests the shape of the mysteries of the vehicle association with the extraterrestrial visitation, which the grail or the black dot cycle, or the black dot cycle. The legend of the grail or the black dot fell to earth of the emerald form of the crown bearer of Lucifer, the light bringer. Lucifer means light bringer. It means light bringer. It ain't got nothing to do with no devil up under the ground. I'm going to explain that in a few minutes, what it means by that. You are, and I'm going to show you a picture of what this thing is dealing with in a few minutes. Now, y'all all right? Okay, let's go on. The original God is named Soot. Soot means the black one. No other God exists in human history beyond this particular God, Soot, which means black. Our word Soot derives from the word soot, all right? The black one, or what they call Soot Nessie, the black and golden one. The priest used to wear a black, you're going to see that priest, he had on a black and gold type of panther skin. The gold means the sun, which the sun is inside of you. The black dot is also inside of you, which the black dot, once it is ignited, you turn into the sons and daughters of God. So black and gold is your color, which means Soot Nessie, the black and gold one. Now, what is going on? Let me explain what's going on, the reason why you can't get out of the mess that you are in. What happened was this. At one time, you were gods. You were lights of being. You were beings of light, excuse me. And as an experiment and as your punishment, because you rebelled against all you was in heaven. You was a group of rowdy children that was given your own star system, Orion. As a result, you said that you got a little jealous of your parents. This is all in this stuff called the fall of heaven. You'll see this fall story around the world. You got a little jealous of your parents of the star system Sirius. So you say you wanted to do your own thing. So you developed a giant computer and started controlling star systems with this computer. Now, obviously, you had that kind of stuff, and you were more advanced than it is now. So because this happened millions of years ago. And as a result, you started controlling star systems. Now, there's a book out about this that the government banned. Brother Delbert Blair got a hold to the book, and after he got a hold to the book, he read it one time, and then the government banned the book. So as a result, I had to go and get spiritual channels to get the true story. And as a result, you started controlling things, and you got rowdy, and you got in a big war in heaven. You will see that in your Bible. You will see about the great war in heaven. And you got in a big war in heaven. And as a result, you got your behind spanked, and as a result, the Orion part of those particular people started mutating. The other part, they say, we got to save the whole star system, so they took the planet Saturn and moved it down into this particular area. And the chakra centers of Saturn fell out and made the other planets. And the Earth being the final planet or the lowest planet. Now, to get a picture of the Holy Kabbalah right quick. Everybody's seen. Now, those particular planets are lined up in the Holy Kabbalah. The different planets. The Earth is down here, which is the lowest. But it came out of Saturn, the black planet. That's why the Dogon had to reunite Saturn. As a result, now this particular planet here had to go through the most hell. And you being the black people and fell, you had to go through the most hell. But as a result, you have gone through your hell, and the other planets are waiting on you to lift them up. You see what I'm saying? Now, why is this? What is the meaning of this? What is the whole problem? Why did this have to happen? First of all, they said, listen, we had to do something that was never done in the history of the heavens. And that was this. They had to take a particular people, and those particular people had, okay, hold on. It's loud enough. You got a microphone on there, right? Okay, I got it snapped in. Those particular people had to do something that no other people in the universe did. And they had to totally forget themselves. That's on cool. They had to totally forget themselves, had to become cultural amnesia. There's nobody on the face of the earth has done what you have done. An ant knows what an ant is. A grain of dirt knows what a dirt is. Every animal knows what it is. The man knows who he is. There's only one thing in the history of the universe that had cultural amnesia and forgot who it was. The ultimate sin done to humanity and the ultimate crime in the universe was a people who forgot who they were. That's us. So therefore, they say you will rise up and receive the kingdom because you went lower than anybody else. So because you went so low, you can qualify to be at the head because you have done something that none of your other brothers and sisters up in heaven did. And that's totally forget yourself and become totally dead. Aren't you dead? Check. Now, so as a result, you are now rising up. Now, as a result, the vibratory rate, when you came to this planet, you were gods. And at that particular time, you had what was called cosmic memory. And all you had to do is remember, because the simple fact that the actual pineal gland and you actually was in communication with your brothers and sisters in the spiritual world. So what happened when you die is you thinking the people dead. No, you're the one that's dead. Those people are now gone to life. But in the old reincarnation system, they would have to hang around for a few years, but even if they didn't get it right, they would have to come back and do it over again. It's like a big classroom. When you die and you don't do it right down here, you got to come back again. But as a result, the new reincarnation cycle is now over. And your people is passed on that you thinking is dead. They on the other side wait for you to get your stuff together. This is a big prison house, and your body came into the physical function because the sun inside got encased into this particular body. So this body is nothing but a big prison house that limits you from doing your stuff when you used to be gods. You see what I'm saying? So as a result, you became into the lower vibratory rate. Now, what is the deal with this thing? What you know as the physical does not exist. It's not real. This is in physics. What you know as the physical is low vibratory rate. It's called a hologram. This is in quantum physics now. This is a holographic universe. You thinking this is real because you born in this world and for some reason this is all you know, so you thinking it's real. I'm saying if somebody told you that the spiritual world taught you that the spiritual world was real from the beginning, you would know that the spiritual world was real, and in actuality, this is all an illusion. You see what I'm saying? This is all an illusion. So what happened was, after so many years of being gods in Atlantis, you fell into the illusion, and your spiritual center shut down, and then what happened was, in the first time, the spiritual world was clear, and you communicated with all your brothers and sisters on the universe beat, the real universe. And the physical world was dim. As the vibratory rate slowed down and you slowly started becoming more and more physical, the physical world became more clear and the spiritual world became dim and your third eye shut down. So you are asleep. And what you fell into is a sleep, which is all a hologram. It does not exist. You understand what I'm saying? This is a holographic universe. It's just that you were born in this and you think this is the real world. So when your people die, you crying for them. They have crossed over into the real world, and they're crying for you because you're the one in hell. You see what I'm saying? So now what's getting ready to happen is the cycle is over, and you're getting ready to go back into the spiritual world. You see what I'm saying? You're getting ready to go back into the spiritual world. Now here's a book. And this is, now see, there's one thing to talk about the occult. There's another thing to talk about physics. Physics is what has concluded that he has ample evidence that he puts it in physics and science. This is called a holographic universe by Michael Talbot. Holographic universe. Now, they concluded in 1983 that the black man was none other than God in the mind-brain report. One of the guys by the name of Carl Pribram, who is a physicist, a PhD in physics, he proved based on the sciences that the black man, based on the melanin in you that links you back to the black holes in space. And he proved that you was God in the mind-brain report of 1983. In 1981, he came out with what is called the holographic universe, and he said that all this down here was a hologram. Was a hologram. So now, the same person, this is a book that we're talking about this particular person, Carl Pribram in here, and when you get the book, Beginner's Guide to the Book of Revelation, they're going to talk about the whole holographic universe. And when you go through the abyss, the real world comes into focus, and the world that you call the real world disappears. Now, I gave a scenario, and I wish I had a blackboard to try to understand this, but you just picture it in your mind. Let's say we take a blackboard. We put a whole bunch of stars on the blackboard. We leave a space out in the middle, and we draw the outline of a body, right? And you'll see the outline of a body, and these stars behind the outline. And you'll put a star in the middle of the forehead, right? And as a result, what will happen is this. Erase the line of the outline, and then what you got? You will have a black full of stars. That's when you see the Lion King. They say that was the Lion King. It was a story of the Osirian drama that they made about you. And they say what? When you die, your people up there become the stars in heaven. Well, every man, every woman is a star, and the star is inside of you, which is the black dot. Now, take the same blackboard that has your star, and you erase the line, and you will be a star in heaven. Put him on the blackboard and put a line on here, then erase the line, and what you got? He disappears. Because this is the hologram, and they are only in the holographic universe. You understand how this goes? That's the key to this whole thing. Now, you know, once we got out of slavery, because we have lost the knowledge of self, and we got out of slavery, and up to the last 140 years, we have been asking God to help us. You understand? But you know how you got a little child, and the child is asking for things that to you, it really don't make no sense. But to him, it's a major thing because he don't know no better. Right? But when he grows up, he say, well, you know, but you don't give it to him because you know better. Well, you've been asking God because the physical world is only a hologram in science. It's only a hologram. And the physical world is a hologram, and so the only thing you've been asking for better conditions in the hologram. You don't want to become God. You only want your conditions to be better so you can be equal to the man who inherited the hologram after you outgrew the hologram. You know, you did the physical thing for a couple of thousand years, but the cycle said, we got to take you down so you can prepare to come back to God. Not the physical thing. And that's the key to this whole thing. You got to get it in your mind. Because anybody that's thinking on the physical, political, mundane, and social, it ain't going to work. Now check this out. Rescue me if I'm wrong. We've been in revolution and liberation for the last 50 years. And everything we do in the physical has been a failure up to now. Right? That is because you have been wishing for the wrong thing. You are asleep. And you've been wanting the hologram, which is all an illusion. And that's what people do when you sleep. You dream in an illusionary world. Check. All right now. I wanted to get that clear because this is how this thing is getting ready to go down. Now, let me get my papers and let's go on. Now, the Enochian, this is a book called the Enochian Magic. Now, we're going to get in a way on how you're going to start working to save yourself in the remainder of this hologram. This is the Enochian Magic of John Dees, the most powerful system of magic in its original unexplicated form. It's by Jeffrey James. Jeffrey James. $14. In here is a tale of a fall from heaven. And it also is names of angelic beings or deities. Now, what has happened is they've taken these Enochian alphabets. Enoch is in the Bible. You see, the problem with the Bible is this. You get Jesus, and you get a whole lot of names, but you don't have that many names for God. That's the mystery to the Bible. One of the names for God is Enoch. One of the names of God is Soot, which means the black one. And On, which means the dog, which means opener. Soot-on in Samaria means Shaitan, which later on, in a fight, it means Satan. Now, I'm not talking about no Satan worshiper like you think, some spooked out thing. You see what I'm saying? This is original when I'm going to get ready to get into this stuff. Because, see, what happened was we got spiritual psychics from all over the country. And all of them said that this knowledge came down to them also. But they said that they were scared to talk about it to the people because the people have been stuck in religion so long, and religion is man-made until they won't be able to deal with it. And I held on to this particular information for a whole year. And I started, and I've been lecturing for 3 years, and I said, now is the time to bring this out, take it or leave it. Now, Enoch is another form of that particular God in heaven. His later form is Tahuti, which is all a form of the same God that you know of in Egypt. Now, Enoch has some angelic deities. These deities in here, they have an angelic alphabet, and they have traced this angelic alphabet around the world trying to find out where did it come from, and they found out that the only thing that these so-called angels in here, that this language is supposed to have been spoken on earth one time, the only thing they can find close to it is the African languages. So that means they're talking about you. Now when the boys put these angelic alphabets and start dealing with this particular stuff, they start, the angels come and give them stab wounds, cut their neck open, kill them. They even put them on fire. There's the stuff called people who people who eternally combust. School Press out of England put the book out. School Esoteric Press. And so the people have been unsuccessful with dealing with these particular gods. The only one that could deal with them was Aleister Crowley, because Aleister Crowley was one of the ancient black druids also, and he was black too. So therefore, because he had the melanin, he could deal with it. Now, the Enochian alphabets and Enochian deities is nothing but your higher self. You see, you got two levels. You got the lower self and you got the higher self. Your higher selves is recorded in the angelic deities. In Egypt, you got the god Ptah, which is also the god Ra, or the god Osiris. And the god Ptah has 72 deities that so-called in Christianity. There's 72 archangels. And those 72 archangels come from Ptah, and Ptah is a pygmy god, which means black. So that means all the angels in heaven are black. See what I'm saying? Are black. Now, in a book called The Kabbalah of the Golden Dawn, you're going to get all 72 deities, the 72 names in heaven. In here, you're going to get the Enochian deities. These are nothing but angelic forces that you used to be. They used to be you. Now, I'm explaining how you get separated from them in a few minutes. Now, let's deal with some things. You come from a part called a chaos sphere. Chaos, which means the triple blackness of space. Now, the boy who is a physics PhD by the name of Hawkins, Stephen Hawkins, wrote a book, The Brief History of Time, and in 1992 they put out a movie, The Brief History of Time. Now, in the movie, he studied the black holes, and he said that the black holes in space, once the Earth goes through the black holes in space, it breaks it up and it becomes particles of light. And those particular, so what's happening with this Earth is going through the black holes in space. Right? And once it breaks it up, it becomes particles of light. You see what I'm saying? It becomes particles of light. So that means when this Earth goes through the black hole, it breaks up this hologram, which is the physical. Now, he went to the Vatican in Rome. And when he went to the Vatican in Rome, the Pope told him, "You are right." He said, because we got the same stuff in the bottom of the Vatican in Rome. You see what I'm saying? He said, you got the same stuff in the bottom of the Vatican in Rome. And he said, you are right. He said, but you can't tell the people this stuff, because if you tell the people this stuff, what will happen is you will mess us up. He said, we can't control the world if you tell the people this stuff. It's in the movie, The Brief History of Time. So you need to go get, you need to go get the movie. It might be at Blockbuster. You see what I'm saying? Now, huh? 1995. Now, what I need to do, I know this is awkward, but I've been drinking this water all day, and I need to go to the restroom. I need to go to the restroom. So now we're going to take a little break, okay? Y'all all right? We're going to take a little break. Now I need to take a break, because they got me on water. So y'all take a little quick break, and we come back now. Okay. We're going to deal with some things. Let's see. Deal with some stuff in science, in the holographic universe. Okay. What do you think, and when you were chaos? The chaos, a state of things in which change is supreme. Chaos, it is a state of primal matter before creation. Chaos, a confused state of mass. Chaos was the primal source of all. Chaos, it is not anarchy, it's chaos. In the beginning, there was only chaos. The agents of chaos that is casting burning glances at everything and anyone are capable of bearing witness to their condition. One must have chaos in order to give birth to a dancing star. Matter is an illusion. Solidity is an illusion. All are illusion. Only chaos is real. The black dot is known as chaos. Everything else is an illusion. Only chaos is real. Because the black dot comes from the triple blackness of space, and it is a chaos. Now, we're going to get into the Necronomicon. One of the words Soot, Awas, Enoch, in one of the Sumerian terms is called Cthulhu. You want to get a book called Cthulhu Myths. Myths in the Kingdom and the Kingdom of Horrors by Robert E. Howard, creator of Conan. Cthulhu, C-T-H-U-L-H-U. Now, these gods I'm getting ready to give you are the most powerful gods on the planet. Cthulhu. This is the guy Robert E. Howard, edited by David Drake. Now, Robert David Drake, when he edited the book, he says Robert E. Howard has a personal misfortune to spend most of his life in place where black hatred was ruled everywhere. Now, this is the man he's talking about, who wrote this book, Cthulhu, which he wrote the book after H.P. Lovecraft, a horror novelist, died, and he was dealing with Cthulhu. Now, why would he say that? Why would the person who edited this book would say about racism? What does that got to do with anything? Not unless he knows that Cthulhu is a form of the black gods that's getting ready to come down. So this is a little $4 thing on Cthulhu. It's a horror novel, but when you get into stuff about what they talk about the great old ones, Yog-Sothoth, Shub-Niggurath, Nyarlathotep, are the monsters that and whose ultimate throne is chaos. The creator is called Cthulhu. Only the ancient blasphemous manuscript can that name be found. The great old ones were once, who were, who are, and who shall remain, and long after they have divorced us and devoured us. Now that means they're talking about people. The great old ones are you. You are the great old ones. Now, that comes to the thing called the Necronomicon. But let me deal with some things. The Moors put in Europe a text called the Necronomicon. They found this text in Moorish Spain in 1977. In the book, Robert Anton Wilson's book, The Mask of the Illuminati, which is a novel because he wrote the book when it was not feasible to write this stuff straight out. In here, he documents when they say Arabs in Spain, they mean the black Moors. When they set up the university, when they set up the 16 universities in Spain, is where they left this particular text. Now, let me explain what this Necronomicon is. Let me get my notes. We're going to deal with some Necronomicon. Okay. Y'all ready for this? The Necronomicon, I told you at one time you fell. And when you fell, your higher selves got separated from you. That's the Necronomicon. So the Necronomicon, or you are the Necronomicon. A primal power that created the universe is called the Great Old Ones. They are the forgotten and locked out of alternative time zones because the vessels that they manifest are asleep, known as black people. But they are going to use the black people as zombies and begin to manifest and take over again because they're going to come right through you, your black dots, the housing product of where they get ready to come through. Now, the Dagon is a group of black people who were some people from Atlantis who worship Awas. The Dagons are the original ancestors of the Dogons. When Atlantis went down, some of them shape-shifted into mermaids and later into dolphins and whales. That's why the dolphins and whales got the same intelligence you have. And that's why they are beaching themselves now to sacrifice. So some of them are sacrificing themselves so they can reincarnate or so they can go to the other side and become these godheads outside of the dolphins' bodies. So the dolphins and all that stuff is nothing but your souls. You can go from a human to a dolphin to a whale. This is real stuff. Marine biologists talk about this all the time. All you got to do is just study. You see what I'm saying? They got their own languages and everything. They're highly intelligent. Probably more intelligent than we are, especially us being lost now. Now, the deep ones are forms of the great old ones, more particularly associated with the element of water, or the astral plane. Now, the Necronomicons are the great old ones, are invaders from other dimensions and other worlds. They once ruled the earth and was vanquished and expelled by other cosmic forces other than the great brotherhood. What they did was is they put you through this big sleep. They slowed down the actual vibratory rate. Your higher selves were separated from you. That's the great old ones. In some cases, they were merely imprisoned. You were imprisoned into this physical body. You understand what I'm saying? Like Cthulhu, the sunken city of Rayleigh, the underworld. There's a particular underworld. Remember I told you that the boy said that the other planets, they got life. They don't have life on it, but they've got life in it. The underworld here, the subterranean world, got life in it too. Now, this is the key, because you're going to find out what this whole inhabitants of the underworld is. It says, our black souls, our higher selves, were in the twat, the underworld, now unleashed and ready to contact us, and some of this particular, there was a gateway. Now what happened was is this here, after the vibratory rate slowed down, your higher selves, when you were gods, they went to the underworld. They left your physical bodies on top of the ground to live out this karma. They live out this karma, and your higher selves been asleep. Now since 1212, this gateway is opened up. Now your higher selves are ready to join you again, and you're ready to come back to gods. The sunken city of Rayleigh, or the subterranean world beneath the deserts and the polar ice caps, but their legends survive as their telepathic influence, and still worshipped by certain primal people in Africa, as well as certain sophisticated occult groups dedicated to bringing back their reign. Black people exist on two planes. Your lower self on top of the ground and your higher self under the ground in the subterranean world. So the complete inhabitants of the subterranean world was your higher selves. When you look in the book of the dead, or either you get from fetish to God, you're going to see a whole section on the underworld. That's when the revelation comes and the earth goes through this abyss. The underworld, the earth literally flips inside out, and your higher selves rejoin you. They are here now, lurking, ready to take over the world and take back the people. So, so the higher selves are the subterranean world. You see what I'm saying? And you've heard this. Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about the subterranean world. Now, when the stars are right, now the great old ones will plunge from other worlds through the sky and rise again from the depths of sleep. You have been asleep. But the people under the underworld have been asleep since Atlantis, and they're getting ready to rise up and go back in you. You see, you got a housing product. Your black dot is the gate where God comes through. Your higher self comes through. But there's a demon that sits on that particular gate that you call the devil. It's actually the black dot. It's the melanin. It's the black hole. And your lower self, it loves it here. It wants to stay around. It's been here for 20, 30, 40 years, and it wants to stay around. That's your lower ego. But when you raise up to the spiritual tree of life, there's that particular gateway, the abyss, the black hole. It eats the lower self up, and your higher self comes in. So that's the demon that you... Now, it says that the Wizard of Oz was taken from H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu myths, or the underground. And, you know, Dorothy went to sleep, and she's trying to find her way back. You see what I'm saying? And she met up with a lion that had no courage. The scarecrow had no brain, and the dang on Tin Man had no heart. And basically that's what black people are right now. No courage, no brain, and no damn hearts. So that represent black people. Remember now, they got those things from the doggone Cthulhu myth, and the occult was where they got the Wizard of Oz from. They write a lot of stuff from the occult. Check. Now, the great Cthulhu and the elder gods never truly died, but could rise from their slumbers and their sleeps only when the stars are right. The stars are now right. The stars have been right ever since April 23rd of 1994. This is a clear prophet book. The Astrology of the Four Horsemen runs out in 1994. Another book called Dramatic Prophecies of the Great Pyramids that went out of print. It was printed every year, the planet. And it went out of print in 1973 when Honorable Elijah Muhammad told his members to read it. And in that book, the prophecies run out in 1994. In the Matrix 3, they say people sat around the table studying all this stuff and they couldn't get past 1994. Then you see why Newt Gingrich and all them trying to deal with the Freaknik and trying to lock you down now. Check? Check. Because of 1994. Now, it says that the oldest and strongest fear is the fear of the unknown, but the dormant of years is following. And what it means is, what you call and you scared of is this. You've been so long separated from your real self until when you look back in the past and look at how your real self used to be, you scared of it because it's so powerful. You understand what I'm saying? You're powerful. Now, the great old ones seem to be preparing for the final fate that when the stars are right will rise when the Sirius and the Dogon do the Siggy ceremony, when the Dogon do the Siggy ceremony. Now, they are preparing for the final fate. That thing has already been done. And in 1212, we open up a gateway, or the gateway open up, they use us to initiate it, and that's the gateway on the fourth dimension that I was telling you about. Cthulhu and them was biting off the heads. But the sister that was when we was going through the actual ritual, we saw a man on a horse, and he had on a red veil. That's the man in the horse that you know of. That's the Godhead root. But it also is, it's the Godhead root. It's the horse in Apocalypse. And it said, I behold a man on the horse, and he had on linen, and on his was sprinkled with blood, and the armies was with them. You see, we saw that man on 1212, which is the number of the Apocalypse. So there's a gateway or a stargate that was open, or a time door that's open, and it unleashed these Necronomicons. And they are now trying to get back to you, but right now you are in hibernation. But you're getting ready to come out of hibernation because you got a sun in you, and your sun gonna rise just like the other sun. When it rises in the spring, your sun will start rising. Check. Now, it says that the eon of the Gnostic sun, that's the Gnostic sun, there's a sun up here, and there's a Gnostic sun. The Gnostic sun is inside you, that's the black dot. And it said that the old eon in the Old Testament and the New Testament sought to rebel conspicuously against the Gnostic sun, the black dot. They was telling you to worship God and not become God. But they left certain passages in there that tell you that. And that's when the Spirit said, worship only the ones, look for nobody to raise yourself up but yourself. Just check. All right. The Gnostic sun is Awas physics, melanin physics, chaos physics, and Necronomiconic physics, which is chaos physics, or what they call quantum physics. That's why you're going to get a book here called Quantum Psychology by Robert Anton Wilson. Let me find the book. Let me show you the book. And look at the cover of the book. Hold on, let me see. I want you to look at the cover of the book. Quantum Psychology. Talking about the chaos physics, what you see? You see the black dot and you see the sun. Once the Kundalini energy hit the black dot, which is the spiritual energy to come up your spine, the sun comes and you have the halo over your head like Jesus Christ. Right here you see the black dot. Go look at a movie called the movie 2010. When this black dot came and hit the planet Jupiter, which was supposed to be last year, remember? One of the suns on Jupiter, and it caused a new sun on Earth. And they say, our children will never know the earth without two suns. But what the key to the new sun is, they had two suns in the sky. The other sun is supposed to be in the black people. Go see the movie. It's a movie about your rise. The movie 2010 came out in 1994. After George Orwell's it came out in 1984. After George Orwell's 1984. His movie, which is 1948, because there's cycles repeat themselves. Check. All right, now, so you need to get Quantum Psychology by Robert Anton Wilson. They say you have two heads in here. The two heads is the holographic brain you got, which is the big piece of meat, and the other one is the brain on the inside, the black dot. But in here it says some people have one head. That's the people. Right in the book, people is giving this stuff. Quantum psychology. Check. All right. Now, let's deal with a couple other things. All right. The rituals were black because they were the rituals of Cthulhu. Set or Soot, Hulu, Cthulhu, and the deep ones, who operated from the third cosmic power zone under the black night of Set or Saturn. The first reflex of Set Typhon and Yog Sathos, an evil spawn, resulted in the miscegenation consequent upon the opening of the celestial gates of the mob zone. The celestial gates of the mob zone is the black dot of the abyss that's called a mob zone also. Now, keep on. The higher self, the dark genius, or the black goddess, or the black god. The contact with the outer gateways. You want to contact the outer gateways of consciousness, or the dark genius. That's called the dark genius. In quantum psychology, your darker half that you call the devil, it's your double. You got a double soul. You got the lower half and you got the higher half, and you scared of the devil, which is your double. Because you look far back and it used to be God, and you scared of what you see because it's too powerful for you. The dark genius, the holy guardian angel, the Awas current, Neil-Hotep, which is a form of the Necronomicon, identifies himself as the black man, the archetype of the Sabbats, and a form of the chronozone. The chronozone is the deepest part of the subconscious that eats up the lower ego. That's called a chronozone. It's the mighty devil. It eats up the lower ego and brings you to your higher self. So they say you must die and be born again. This particular part set on the gateway, ready to devour everything that is lower energy. You know what I'm saying? The chronozone, the howling guardian, is also, there's more of a passing resemblance to Awas. Awas is the one that dictated this particular book. That's when he say, my holy guardian angel or devil. That means the devil is the Hotep is both described as crawling chaos. Now, the secret chiefs, or the great old ones, are no doubt flawed with the ends of otherwise lucid visions. Nor does time reflect the Judaic religions or the earlier rites of the eons of Isis, which means that this stuff is beyond Judaism or Christianity or Egyptian. But incalculably remote time of ages when human consciousness of the planet, and the age when the human race existed under the dominions of the great old ones, the black gods, or the Cthulhu, when you were gods, is what this stuff is actually talking about, and what this stuff is actually talking about. Now, you fell from heaven. When they say that Lucifer fell from heaven, they talk about the light bringers. Only you can bring the light. There's a black dot inside of you. You are the fallen gods that fell from heaven as the Necronomicon, and you fell, and you was in prison, and you was in the underworld put to sleep. And your physical bodies had to live off the karma on top of the earth. Now, one of those, now, that particular part that you were called a Baphomet. Let me show you some stuff on this. The Baphomet is but a form of the most ancient god, a form of the Greek god Pan, which means all begetter, or all in all. The earlier form of Soot Typhon, the black one. The Baphomet means Father Mithra. Christmas was named after Mithra. The Persian cult, which is a form of Heru, the Christ, was borrowed. They borrowed the rights of Mithra. They got it from Egypt. And the Christian got this right. They borrowed their stuff from the Persians. So the Christmas story is the Mithric story, which is originally the Egyptian story. Your book of Revelation is the Mithric story coming out of Persia. That's why they was bothering Saddam Hussein, because they know that ancient Persia is now modern-day Iran and Iraq. You see, Persia. Persia was celebrated as Mithra, as the Persian form of Christ. The U.S. is now trying to go back into Persia. The movie The Predator, I said this last week, but I'm going to show you, I got a picture for you all this week. The movie The Predator symbolizes the ancient black man that you call the devil. Now, this book you want to get is on, see, all you had to do to get past this devil stuff is study the damn thing, but we don't study nothing. Because we're so stuck in religion, we can't get past it. Here's a book called Devils, the Perspectives of Evil in Antiquity and Primitive Christianity. Jeffrey Burton Russell. Now, The devil has horns. You see the horns on the devil. Anybody ever seen the black goddess Hathor or Heru with the horns? That's where they got it from. The Greeks borrowed the horns and put on the god Pan. The Christians trying to turn everything against it wasn't in their religion evil. They turned the picture of Hathor, the golden calf in the Bible, as evil. Later on, they turned the god Pan, which is a later form of the god Soot type and the oldest one, evil. You see what I'm saying? So when they talk about the devil is evil, they're talking about the most ancient God who is God. Jesus said, Satan, get behind me, which means I'm backed by the powers of Satan. Let me explain this. Let me show you a picture of this. You all got to get this stuff and bear witness to it. Let me show you a picture of this. Look, just get you a regular picture of the yin and yang sign so everybody know what I'm talking about. Everybody seen the yin and yang sign. You call it the Kung Fu sign. Right? This side is light. That means Christ. Right? That means Christ. But that's putting the cart before the horse. That's why you couldn't get back to your ancient Jews, because you put the cart before the horse. The light comes from the black. In the beginning there was blackness, and then there comes light. The black is called Satan. Satan or Soot. Soot, the black soot. In your head is the medulla oblongata behind your neck, where it's the most concentrated part of the melanin, at the base of the skull and the top of the spine. So when Jesus says, Satan, get behind me, he's saying, I got my battery, which raises the black dot and turns me into Christ. You see what I'm saying? Because from the darkness, you get the light. And without the darkness, you can't get the light. So you've been worshiping the light, and the white boy done locked up all your dark stuff, which is the battery, in the British Museum. So you've been worshiping the vehicle, which is a car, but a car is only aluminum and fiberglass. The real stuff that run a car is the carbonated battery and the gas, but the gas comes from crude oil, which is what? Carbon. That's the mysteries of Satan. So when he says, Satan, get behind me, it's a metaphysical book talking about the head of the Christ. You are all Christ, because is it not written in your law that you are all gods? The black part where the melanin is called the mouth of God. This is the battery, too. You call a medulla oblongata, the mouth of God. So when he says, Satan, get behind me, he's talking about I'm backed by the powers of my father, Satan. Satan comes from the word soot. Soot on. Soot, which means black, and on, Anubis, which is the dog, which means opener, comes from the dog star. It's later on, it's the word Sutek. And Sutek becomes the word Melchizedek. And Jesus is of the order of what? Melchizedek. Melchizedek is Satan. That's why the mystery of the Bible is it ain't talking about no devil up under no ground. Satan simply means the Nubian when you translate it. But prove me right on this, because we're supposed to be grown now. If ain't no devil under no ground, then what the hell are we talking about when he worshiped you? He's talking about the mysteries of the ancient black man. It's called a Baphomet. That's what they made the movie The Predator was. And the Predator had what? Dreadlocks. He had a spear. And the only way the Arnold Schwarzenegger could beat the black man is he had to put himself in mud. But the other movie came out in 1990. This one was 8 times worse than the other one, and what they had to do, they had to get a black man to beat him. And they got Danny Glover. And Danny Glover beat him, and he took his own boomerang from him. And he drove it in him, and then all the other Baphomets or predators came out. And they gave Danny Glover a gun. Why they didn't kill him? They saying, brother, you one of us. We just got the power and you don't. And when you realize who you are, you one of us. You see what I'm saying? Now we look funny to you because the third dimension is so low until you thinking what you seeing is ugly, and the third dimension is not conducive for this kind of power. So when it comes down here, it turns into a hideous form. It's because the power is too high, because this is an abnormal level. But up in the heavens, we look just like you look here. You see what I'm saying? So the yin and the yang is, in the light part, this is you. And in you is a black dot. But when you go back to space, this is you, the damn stars up there. You get it? You get the yin and the yang symbol? This is you. And there's a black dot in you called melanin. But when you return back to your original primal material, you will be a star in heaven, because every man, every woman is a star. The yin and the yang symbol. Now, the Baphomet. The horns came from the god...